So, um, so welcome everyone to the Productive Agent Podcast. Productive Agent Podcast is powered by Aubrey Home Loans, and today we have a friend of mine that I don't know how long we were just discussing how long we known each other, and we're like shrugging our shoulders. I don't know. She's been in the business 20 years. I've been in 30 plus. So welcome, Amie Larsen. Amie is the owner of Deluxe Utah Real Estate. So she's been in real estate about just going on 20 years. So welcome to the show, Amie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. We tried to hook up earlier, I don't know, about a month or so ago. We just, time sometimes it just we're zigging and zagging, it doesn't work.
Yes.
So tell us about so I didn't even know. I just found out in the green room that Amie is no longer with her national brand. I mean, were you with any other brokers prior to that?
No, for 19 years, I was with the international company. And so,
Right,
yeah, so I decided to spread my wings. And after, you become an adult in real estate after, 20
right.
years, might as well leave the nest and
Yeah.
start your own thing, right?
Well, that's what I did. And it was about 20 years too. It's just that I probably had about 10 brokers in that time frame.
Yeah,
So,
I did
uh,
too. Yeah. Yeah, I think through my time with Exit, I've probably gone through six
uh,
or seven of the brokerages, the franchises within. So
right,
yeah.
right, right. Yeah, no, I meant actually different brokerage firms.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes you switch, you're like, oh man, this isn't this wasn't what I thought it was. And then you're looking for another one. And you
Right.
really can't, you really don't know until you're in there 6 to 8 months that, whether it's a good fit or not. I mean, sometimes you find out early, hopefully.
Yeah.
But that's pretty exciting. So, and
Oh,
you've
I'm
always
just
been
super loyal. So
right. Well, and that's a good trait.
yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm sure 20 years, I'm sure you're frustrated recruiters over the years. So,
Yes.
because you were always productive. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, so you're in what we call our top producer series. So to be in this series, I only sent out invitations to those that close a minimum of 30 transactions a year.
Mm. Cool.
So, because I mean, not saying that someone that closes a couple deals a year doesn't have any value, but the name of the show is productive agent.
Right.
So we're trying to stick with the theme, right?
Yeah.
So what was your biggest year, unit wise or volume wise, whatever? Do you know?
So that would have been probably 2016. I think we did over 75 deals.
That's a lot.
That when I say
Yeah,
we, I mean like me and my husband work together.
sure.
He's my showing agent, and then we had a transaction coordinator. So
So that's it's a one showing agent, one TC, and 75 deals.
yeah.
I mean, you worked hard. I mean, that's a lot of work.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like if you didn't work together, you and your husband, you might not have saw each other.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a lot of transactions without having a full fledged, group of buyers agents.
Exactly.
So yeah, and and where does your business come from? Where do you get your business?
Well, I built my business door knocking.
Sweet.
Now, yeah, now my business is mostly referral.
Sure.
And past clients. I still get some deals from, like open houses and sign calls and, internet leads, stuff like that.
Right.
But we're still benefiting from the door knocking days.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I did more cold calling than door knocking when I was, back in the day when it was only 7-digit dialing. I was at Realty Executives at the time. The Fillmore family owned it. We'd have stand-up desks, two phones. We'd have two headsets, with just a one ear each, two microphones. We'd dial with the right hand, two rings. We'd start dialing with the left hand. You'd
yeah,
have two phones
been
ringing.
there.
Yeah, yeah,
I
exactly.
tried it. For me, I had to, build a relationship face to face.
Right,
I had to see people face to face. And um, also with like my voice, I'm 5 feet tall. With
right,
my voice, people would call and be like, "Is your mommy home?" And I'd be like,
right,
"I am the mommy." So I just felt like I had to just go and talk to people. And
right.
yeah.
Yeah, and the trade-off was you get better rapport in person, but you can get more contacts on the phone. So
Yeah.
it's a trade-off, you know.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
you know, but I mean, I've done door knocking, but I did a lot of cold calling. I mean, we
Yeah.
just do straight circle dialing for sale by owners and expired. I remember training an agent one time. He's actually a pretty successful guy now, where I gave him the back of the FISBO list, you know, because we back then it was you got a new report every day. It was this paper, so we'd have a stack this high, you know, this high, and you know, so I give him the bottom stack and say, here, call these,
Yeah.
and you know, and then at the end of the day, I'd say, what happened? He goes, well, they were all listed. I said, great. Now tomorrow, when you call the new ones and they say they'll never list with an agent, I want you to remember what happened today.
Yeah,
That
that
every
those
one of
guys
them
did
listed,
list.
and every one of them listed, you know.
Yeah.
So that's day number one for sale by owner call lesson. You know,
That's
they
awesome.
all list. Don't listen to them. So
Yes, that
yeah,
is true. And I mean, I would door knock. I just farmed, right? And so if
right,
there was a for sale by owner in the neighborhood, I'd go to their house. But I didn't really target a lot of for sale by owner.
right.
But yeah, and my coach, when I first got into real estate back in 2004, at least it wasn't the 1900s like you,
Right.
but
Oh yeah. Ouch.
but no, there was still just barely the interweb coming out, right? There was
Right.
just starting to have internet leads and so you still had fax machines at the office and stuff like that. But my coach was 75 years old when I met him,
Got
and
it.
he had been a top producer. I mean, he made
Who
over
was your coach, if you don't
500,000.
mind? Who
Oh,
was
so
it?
his name was Bill Nasby, and he actually was one of the founders of Exit Realty.
I see.
And so he was 75 by the time I met him, and he would take us as his training. He would rent a bus, and he'd take us all in the bus, and we'd go find a neighborhood, and he'd wear a microphone on his tie
Right.
and a speaker on the bus so people could actually hear on the bus what was happening at the doors
So he was
live.
door knocking, and you could hear it.
So yeah, oh no, we were the ones, but
No, you
he'd
were on
fill
the
in the
bus.
gaps. Yeah,
Right.
well, he'd take two people at a time from the bus,
Oh, I see.
and so we'd end up being the ones at the doors, and everybody on the bus could hear what was happening. But you could
That's really clever.
it was cool because it removed a lot of the fear.
Yeah,
Bill would
because
fill
you're
in the
yeah.
gaps.
All they're doing is
Yeah,
having a conversation. Nobody's biting you.
exactly. So he'd fill in the gaps if people got stumped or if somebody started getting crabby at the door. He'd just say, "Hey, just listen. We're training real estate agents here. Could you just bear with us?" And they'd be like, "Oh, okay." And then you'd go on with your script, and then everybody at the doors could laugh and hear what was happening, and then they were next. Then
Right.
they have to be the ones next to go. And so the first time I went out and did that, I was like, I could do this.
Right.
And so then the first time I went door knocking by myself after Bill had left, um, I went to the door of this one and they said, "What are you trying to sell?" And I said, "Your house." And they're like, they laughed and they're like, "We don't want to sell our house, but we have some land. Can you sell land?" And I'm like, "Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Sure."
Yeah.
I'm like brand new agent.
Right.
And so then I call my broker after. I'm like, "Can I sell land?" And he's like, "Yes."
Yeah. Right.
So
That's funny.
so I've always been just a really good, lead generator and go out and do the things I was told and talk to people and build the relationships. Like really the skill comes in the follow up. You
Right.
could
Oh yeah.
get,
The fortune is in the follow up.
yeah. So you
That's
could
what they
get
say.
leads all day long if you don't go
Follow
back and
up.
follow up and have a process in place.
Right.
You just wasted an hour of your day. So
Right.
yeah.
Or money if you're buying them, you know.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing. When I got into real estate, my husband wasn't supportive. He wanted me to have a real job. And so, me getting paid straight commission, there was no security or stability
Right.
in that, right?
That
And
can be scary
so,
for some people.
yeah. So, so I had no money to buy anything,
Buy
to
leads.
buy
Right. Right.
leads, to,
Most new
door
agents
knocking
don't.
was free. And
Right.
so all it took was my time and getting over the fear of going and talking to people.
Right.
And so I was able to, just go out and do that. Also, my kids were 1 and 3.
Right.
And so I did not have a ton of time to just waste. And so what I was taught was you had to talk to 3 times as many people on the phones as at the doors.
Right.
So I was like, I got to use my time efficiently. So I will go to the doors. I'll give 1 hour of my time each day. And what's really cool is we learned in that training with Bill that he had us first write down our goals. And
Right.
it wasn't what we thought we could have. It was the things that we wanted. Dream big, ask
Right.
for anything, put down what you want. And that first year, I went from being an office manager making $15,000 a year or
Right.
$20,000 a year. And that was my mindset. Right. And so,
Right. Wages. You have that
um,
wage mindset.
and so when I wrote down my goals and it came to $100,000, I was like, only rich people make that.
Right.
I'm never going to make that. But we were able to, based on the number and our goal, we were able to break it down to how many people we needed to talk to 4 days a week to achieve that goal.
Right.
And so all I did was I just was like, okay, just tell
Focus
me
on
what
that
to do.
number.
I'll go do it. Yep. So my number ended up being 7.5 people per day. And so I just rounded it to 10.
Right.
So I made sure that I talked to 10 people a day, 4 days a week at the doors. And by after my gestation period of, getting my head around it, within, I guess, less than a year of that happening, I had reached my $100,000. It wasn't a calendar year, so that was September. And
Right.
so I had to adjust my goal to keep going. So
Right.
I ended up adding some things into what I wanted, came to $180,000. But by my first calendar year, I made $140,000 and did 27 deals in my first year.
Wow. Good for
So
you.
yeah. So
That's
I would attribute all of my success to having my coach, and mentor Bill, and just also my drive to go, I guess, and do it.
right. Well, and you had it down. I mean, talking to 10 people a day, I mean, that's really not that hard, and only
Yeah.
4 days a week. Because I always ask this question: if you talk to 20 sellers a month, would your business improve? And when the obvious, I mean, you don't ask
If
questions.
you can find and know that they're an actual seller, like that they
Right,
have a motivation. Yeah.
right. Well, all that means is you got to knock on one for sale by owner door a day.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That's 20 sellers a month. I
Yeah.
mean, it can be that simple. The point is, but I mean, because if you did, I mean, how could you not list two? I mean, after 10, 20 a month, you'll get good at it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
only one a day,
Right. Well, and
you
then
know?
it's funny because after you've hit that first year and you're like, okay, I did it, then you're asking yourself, can I do it again?
Right.
Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like,
January 1, you're like, oh man, this
uh-huh.
is overwhelming.
Yeah. And you have to reset your goals, So every
Right.
year we're doing our goals for the next 12 months and the things that we want to accomplish. I think that's the problem that most people have is they don't ever set that goal. They just say, I just want to make $100,000, but
Right.
there's nothing actually attached to it to
Right.
make you go do
Just,
the things
yeah, no
that you
why. The
need to
why
do.
has to be strong enough,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
You got to focus on the why so that when somebody's ornery, you're like, okay, I got to remember why. I got to remember why.
Exactly.
Brian Buffini had a good line where he said, "We don't see people at their best; we see them at their stressed." And I'm like, "Man, isn't
Yes.
that the truth?" You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had a lot of good lines, Brian Buffini.
Yeah,
But
he's
that's
got
so
the good
true. I
one
mean, our
there.
clients are, they're moving. You know, I mean, they're going through, you know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where their shelter's being disrupted.
Yeah.
They don't
Well,
know
and
where
there's
they're
always a
living.
life change that
Right.
makes that move happen, right?
Right before,
So
right. Birth,
there's
death.
some kind of trauma that's making that
Right.
happen.
Birth, death, got a job, lost a job, marriage, divorce,
Yeah.
health, kids move out, kids move back with kids. It's like,
Yes, for
and
sure.
today with the way prices are, I mean, hell, they may be in your basement a lot longer than you had hoped.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if we could just figure out how to get in front of the parents to say, look, 3.5% down, and we can get your kids out of your basement. It's like,
Well, and that's the thing, like as a parent, what I
right,
actually bought a townhouse last year for my kids. When I saw things were going really crazy, I was like, my kids are going to need a place to live.
right,
And so I was able, I mean, the equity in my house value tripled in just the last
like 12 years. Yeah,
8 years. Yeah.
right,
And so the parents have the equity and they have the low
right,
interest rate.
right,
So it's, I was like, I'm going to have to pull out some of the equity from my home to be able to help my kids to be able to get into home ownership.
right.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's the marketing. That's the marketing magic bullet if you can figure out how to get in front of the parents, you know.
True. Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
anyway, so door knocking and a coach, right? Those are, because I heard you say that, and the other thing that I really picked up on is goals. You have to have a
Hmm.
goal. Like we said, the why has to be strong enough. A hundred
Yes.
thousand, yeah, that's okay, but you know, but it's the why that matters. When the why is
Yeah.
strong enough, the how's irrelevant. You'll just figure
Exactly.
it out.
Well, and I think another one of my whys was, in the beginning when I was just building it up, and it's not instant, right? You go door
Right,
knocking, 6 months later or a year later, you have a deal.
right.
And um, so when my husband was seeing me doing all this work and not
With no
having
money.
results and no paycheck, he's, like, you're spending more money than you're making. Go get a job. And so I actually went and got a temp job while I was in
Door
the
knocking.
process of building things up. And I remember I made like $50 that day after you do the math and,
Right.
taxes come out of it and
Gas.
everything. And I go, here's your $50. I'm going to go make 5 grand. And so that
Right.
motivated me even more. I had to
Right.
prove to
Right. Right.
him that I could do it. But, I'm not, I'm unemployable. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah. I'm
I,
not employable. No, we're not employable. We're easily unemployable, but we're not employable. You know?
exactly. So, and the other thing, I mean, my mom taught me from a young age that I needed to learn how to work. I needed to have a work ethic
Right.
because I needed to be able to work in case my husband couldn't, or, for whatever reason. So I knew right off when we got married straight out of high school, like I needed to put him through college. He needed to be the one to go to college so he could be the breadwinner. And so that was my entire purpose in life, was to work so my husband could go to college so he could provide for our family. And it actually backfired because I ended up putting him through college, but he ended up becoming my buyer's agent. So I never
Right.
went to college.
Yeah, me either.
So
You know the old saying, right? A students make doctors, B students make lawyers, and C students make money.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know
So
I've had two businesses that I've owned, prior going into where I'm at now. And one, I owned a real estate brokerage, and I was a paint contractor. And both companies I had, many different people that worked with college degrees. Even when I was a paint contractor, I had painters with degrees. And, but yet none of them ever had a degree in painting or real estate. So
right.
I'm looking at that and go, well, what was the point of that? I mean, unless you're
Yeah.
getting a specific discipline to make money, like an engineer, something
Right.
like that. I mean, I don't get the point of college unless you're going for one of those jobs.
Yeah. I mean, there's funny degrees, right? You could be like, I have a degree in Russian. Okay, what are
Yeah,
you going to do with it? Or
right. Underwater
history or
basket weaving.
whatever.
That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What do you do with that? You
Yeah.
become a history teacher back at the school.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's all you
Which I
do there.
guess is necessary, but now they're teaching weird history. So I'm like,
Yeah, I
maybe
don't
we
know.
don't need
Yeah,
those
they're
guys.
not teaching. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But you had mentioned like, you don't get a deal for 6 months. I wrote a white paper, a blog post, whatever you want to call it, long time ago, and I called it Pavlov's paperwork. Now I understand, right?
Mm,
And so the way it works is, you start door knocking. You know, 4 weeks go by before you get a solid lead, because in the beginning you're terrible at it. You're just like puking on people's steps. And
yeah.
so just puking like crap out of words. So anyway, so 4 weeks go by, you get a solid lead, you follow up for 2 weeks, then you finally set an appointment for the week after, you're up to 7 weeks, you meet with them. They don't list with you that night. Another week later, that's 8 weeks go by. They're not ready to hit the market for 2 more weeks. So 10 weeks go by, you're on the market, you do a price adjustment after a month, you're under contract for 3 weeks, it falls apart. By the time it closes, and right before closing, this is where Pavlov's paperwork comes in. So here you're getting ready to close. I mean, what are you doing right at closing, right? You're running around like a nut getting things missing, right? Missing items. So you're actually doing paperwork. You're turning in forms to the office and whatnot. You're showing up a title with the missing addendum initial and all that. So you're doing all this paperwork, right? And then, so what happens is you do this paperwork, then you get paid. So the problem is, so in a Pavlovian way, we start associating that behavior with the money, because the behavior that actually made you the money is so far removed from the reward that you can't emotionally and mentally connect the two behavior. I mean, the behavior to the reward. And so that's why I call it Pavlov's paperwork. Now I understand, and
right. So with our new brokerage that we've created, we're geared toward top producing like mentality, right? Like, and so we actually provide transaction coordinating for our agents for free, because I want them out doing the money making.
Yeah, I don't want you touching paperwork.
Not messing with paperwork. Yeah.
Right.
So because that's what happens. They get a deal, they start working on that deal, they stop prospecting, and that's how you get the peaks and valleys.
The roller coaster, right?
Yeah, you have to keep door knocking. And so my coach, I'll show you this cute little thing that he had us
Who are you
do.
coaching with now?
Well, Bill passed away back in 2018 at 90, but he was coaching us until basically the day he died.
Wow. My kind of guy.
Yeah. So he'd have us put together a weekly planner, right?
Got it. Yep.
So every week we plan our week. So time blocking was also a big thing. And he would say that, my door knocking time is from 5 to 6. And if you die, don't plan your funeral between that time. I won't make it, no closing can be scheduled during that time. No buying, showing houses can go between that time. So that's the thing, is like, a lot of times agents will drop everything. They'll drop their prospecting time and say, oh, well, I have a closing.
Right.
Closing is not a money-making activity. You already did that.
But I always controlled I always made my closings like in the middle of the afternoon, when you had that, like, oh man, I could use a nap right about now, and nothing like a closing to perk you up,
Right. Yeah.
And then
that's the thing. You got to own your time.
Right. Yeah. I had a good quote on my Facebook. I'll see if I can pull it up. But what I used to do, with closing, because closing was energetic, and so, you worked on this deal, you're getting it to the finish line. And I would always have my leads like in a folder. And I would bring that folder in. And then after everybody signed all the papers, I would walk the clients to the door. And then I would go back in the conference room and I would pick up my phone and I would start doing lead follow-up, because you have this energy, right?
Yeah.
That you can't fake that energy. And people are attracted to that. Like, I got it going on kind of energy. Right. And so I said, anytime you sign a listing, pull around the corner from the house and pick up the phone and start making lead follow-up calls, because you just have that energy.
Yeah. That's what Bill would say too. He'd say the best time to go door knocking is right after a closing, because you
got confidence. Yeah, you got swagger going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you don't care, like, hey, you don't want to listen with me. That's all right with you.
That's fine. I just had a closing.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's how you feel, right? Yeah. But what most people do is they go out and spend the money,
Right. Well, or they have to go pay the bills because they already spent the money. But
right. Yeah, that too. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why the boards changed the board dues to July. Because I always look forward to every December. You could buy lock boxes cheap. You could buy A-frame signs cheap. Everything was cheap.
You need the write-off at the end of the year too, right?
Well, you had agents that couldn't come up with their board dues, so they weren't going to renew.
Right.
So you buy these barely used lock boxes,
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I have always loved that. Then when they changed it, I'm like, oh man, that kind of sucked. There's always that purging at the end of the year.
Exactly.
And I was okay with that. But
yeah.
So okay. So when did you open up your brokerage?
This March.
That March of 2023. Yep. Yeah, I didn't
Yep.
know that. That's like, wow. And so, and how many agents do you have right now?
So right now we've got around 10.
Okay, 10 agents.
Yeah.
Great. And
Yeah.
then you have a TC, in-house TC. So it's
Yes.
automatic. It's not, we're not, yeah. Some agents just can't let go, you know?
What I mean, yeah, and that's the hard thing is for people to let go of that control. But RTC is licensed and she's getting her broker's license. So
Right,
she actually is the best TC you could have because she's making sure that everything is followed correctly and
right,
written, properly in the right forms and all of that stuff. And so she actually is taking some of that burden off of me as well,
right,
so that I can go and still continue to produce.
right. Because
Um,
10 agents, not enough money.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
our goal is, we don't want to have so many agents that they're just a number. I
Right,
like to be able to give them my time and to mentor them, and stuff like that through deals and processes and strategies. So our goal will probably be to just have 20 producing agents.
right.
We're not here to have just people hang a license and
500 agents, right? Yeah, I mean, if you had 20 agents and they're all doing 2 deals a month, you're doing pretty well. That's 40 deals a month.
yeah,
And then, and plus you have your personal production.
right.
Yeah, no, that's it. If I were to do it over again, I would do something more in that line. However, I would probably be more of a team, where I
We
would just
treat it
have,
like a team. I mean,
right,
I generate leads that I don't need to take. And so I pass on those leads to the
right,
agents. So it's not about me per se. Like I still allow them to brand themselves and I don't treat it the way a lot of teams do, where I get all
right,
the credit for the work they do and stuff like that. Like they have the deals in their names, even if I gave it to them.
right,
But it's a deal that if I wasn't going to take it, then it would have gone to someone else anyway. So
right. Half a watermelon's better than a whole grape, you
yeah,
know?
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've thought about that, I mean, where, like I said, I would have a team maybe, with 3 or 4 showing agents and that's it. Like I would generate the lead. I'd meet with the buyer, get a buyer agency contract signed, get the loan approved, and then just have a showing agent. They found a house, I bring it back to me and I start writing the offer,
Um,
you know,
I
because you
I
can handle
like
10 buyers that way.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's where, where we've worked with Brian having the buyers, letting him show the
Right.
houses and I handle mainly the listings. We still generate leads that way and we can pass them on and share them and things like that. Um, but I like the team aspect because Brian and I, when we travel, we go together. And so
Right.
we need somebody else that
Right.
can handle the things
Nobody's
when
there
we're
to answer
gone.
the phone.
Yeah.
Right. And we all know
And
real estate agents
yeah.
don't go on vacation. We just work from places with sand.
Yes, I call it vacation, just working in a prettier place.
Right.
So yeah.
Exactly right. It's on the
Yeah,
phone with a view, you know?
exactly.
So,
Yeah. So we're trying to just gear it toward, that family team kind of feel, but everybody can also be somewhat
be their own
independent.
thing. Right. Yeah. That's kind of a hybrid team.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, you gotta love that. So,
Yeah,
and then,
it's
so
been
your
good.
TC is actually getting a broker's license.
Hmm.
So, are you the principal?
Yes.
So, okay. And
Yeah.
is your TC going to become the principal? No? Yeah, nay, maybe.
No.
Okay.
Well, if I die, would
Right.
have a backup plan.
Right. Right.
But yeah, so I think just the fact that, she doesn't want to compete. There's different personalities, right? And
Right.
there's different strengths for different things in real estate.
Some people are process oriented and that's who they
Yeah,
are.
she's great at working on the paperwork and handling that side of things. She does not love the people side. And like my husband does not like the prospecting side. So that's why
Right.
he will always just show
Be a showing
houses.
it. Right.
So what's great about real estate is there is something that every personality can do
Yep.
in different ways.
Yeah. As long as you
So
have the team environment. And that's the solo dilemma's agent because
yep,
they're usually only good at one. So if they're good at deals, then their paperwork's atrocious. And
exactly.
if they're good at paperwork, they don't have any deals. It's
Yes.
like, Well, all
Yeah.
right, pick your poison, you know. I always say, well, give
Yeah.
me the guy that's terrible at paperwork because we'll clean up his paperwork. Just go generate revenue, you know?
Yeah. So that's what Bill would say. Do what you do best and delegate the rest. And so
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
that's kind of how we're working it. And yes, so I would like to have, well, my husband calls them Popeyes. My husband wants to have 20 Popeyes and not a lot of olive oils. So
Right.
the Popeyes are the guys that go out and sell, and
Right.
so yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Squirrel. There's an
Yeah.
old joke is they say the memory is the second thing to go, but I can't remember what the first one was, right? You know?
Exactly.
You know, so you know, I'm not saying I'm getting older, but I signed my Medicare paperwork today, you know. So
Dang it.
yeah. But now I got
Yeah.
great health care for cheap,
Perfect. Yeah, finally.
$169 a month, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, sign me up.
That is
So
a challenge in real estate, isn't it? Getting
yeah.
healthcare.
Yeah, I was doing a health share. You know, I don't know if you're familiar with them. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
healthy and you know, and so I rarely go to the doctors. I mean, maybe a sinus infection every 3 or 4 years, you know. And
Mhm.
so and there's a place up in Salt Lake called Salt Lake Urgent Care. It's just a doctor's office, but they don't take insurance, so they're cheap. They're $50. And
Oh, good. Yeah.
and half the time I do a telecall anyway. I'm just on the phone with the doctor. You know, I explain my symptoms and what's going on. I mean, I'm like, I'm at the age, I'm like, doc, I know I got a sinus infection. You know, it's like,
Hmm.
you know, and so they give me penicillin, I'm good, you know.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
now, you know, as you get older, you never know. Stuff
Exactly.
stuff starts falling off, you know. So
Exactly.
yeah. And so and you're down in St. George now, right?
Yeah. So I live in St. George, and the reason that we came up with the name Deluxe Utah Real Estate was, one, Deluxe was the only name in the dictionary that wasn't taken yet. So,
Right.
and then I wanted to make sure people knew that we worked in real
Utah.
estate and the
Right.
state of Utah. Yeah. So we've got agents in both areas, and we'll go back and forth and things like that. But
Right.
I could not handle the Salt Lake winters any longer,
No, I'm not
and
digging them at
I
all.
needed some sunshine, so we had to move to St. George. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got my eye on Florida, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Where are you originally from?
I grew up in Philadelphia and then I was born and raised in Philadelphia. Then I moved to Florida in the mid 80s and then moved to Utah in the mid 90s.
Nice.
So,
Well,
so
you can
I,
still do loans in Florida, so
well, and I can do, I plan on getting a Florida license. The cool part about mortgages is once you have your national license, then each state has their own requirement. Utah is one of the largest requirement because the national portion is 20 hours and then, but Utah's 15. And so Florida is only a 2 hour course. So I mean, I can Saturday morning, I could take a 2 hour course, jump online, take a test, and I have a license in Florida.
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. Because you just have to study some Utah law. When I first moved to Utah from Florida, I had a Florida real estate license and I only had to take back then, Utah had reciprocity. So I took an 8 hour Utah law course, which made sense because I mean, finance is finance, contracts are contracts. I mean, it was Utah law, which was way different than Florida because Florida, I mean, if you had water on your land, I mean, it was yours, you know, where
Yeah.
where Utah, it's like, what do you mean? It's like, how could water on your land be personal property? How's that
Right.
possible? You
Yeah.
know, and it just really, I struggle with that, you know, coming, you know, where in Utah, your goal is to get water. In Florida, your goal is to get rid of it. You know, it's
Exactly.
like, yeah.
We'll take
So,
some of your water. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So that was interesting, you know, and they had a different homestead exemption type thing. Like if you were, like their homestead exemption was more of like only a lien directly related to the property could foreclose a house. So any
Hmm.
other judgments or anything could not foreclose a house. And so what a lot of contractors and smart people would do is they would have like gold fixtures, you know, $150,000 chandeliers, you know. In other words, they buried a lot of money in their house. You know, if
Yeah.
something ever happened, you know, they're sitting on a $500,000, you know. And
Wow.
so, you know, I mean, it's pretty smart, you know, I mean, it's the gaming the system But
Yeah.
and in Utah, it was different. It's like in a bankruptcy, if you're wiped out, I forget you retain a certain amount of money. I forget. But yeah, I thought it was interesting to learn the differences.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
and yeah, and in mortgage law they have a few different rules. So
Yeah.
yeah, 2-hour test. I'm not ready to do business in Florida yet. I need to get my Utah practice consistent, and it doesn't have to be a lot, just a few deals a month, and
Yeah.
then I can take a breather, and
Right.
just and then focus on, now that I got a machine rolling, then I can
Mhm.
focus. And so, and then I'll probably hire what they call freedom callers, just people, uh, virtual assistants to just
Yeah.
dial, just because you can get a list, Florida. And so one of the MLSs in Florida, I think, oh, what's it called? Not Bright. I think it's the other one. But anyway, they have three. So Florida has three MLSs that are in the top 20 MLSs in the country.
Hmm.
One of them has like 65,000 agents.
Wow.
It's like the third largest in the country.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you get a list from there. I mean,
Yeah.
you can have 5 dialers going for a year.
Exactly.
So that's kind of the plan.
That's
And then
cool.
I like Florida. I plan to move back there in a few years.
Yeah,
So
it's nice and sunny there. I cannot handle humidity. I like my dry heat.
right. No, there's a lot to be
So,
said for that. But there's
yeah.
also, I like being near the ocean. Not that
Yeah,
I
for
like to go
sure.
to the beach every day, but I just like knowing it's like over there.
Yes, it's
I can,
right there.
I can smell it. So,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
get used to it. You can. It takes a while, but you get used to it.
Yeah. Yeah. We love Sand Hollow. Sand Hollow is our beach. So we love to
What's
just be able to head over there and hang out at
what is
Sand.
Sand Hollow? What is that? Like a
It's the
lake or something?
reservoir
Oh, okay, yeah. And
state
the
park.
water, is it warmer down there? I know, like up here,
Oh yeah.
like the water's cold up here. You know?
No, like at Sand Hollow, the water itself is in the 70s.
Right,
So yeah, my pool, when it's 100 and 115 down here, my pool's like 98.
right.
So you go to the lake to cool off and it's like
Right,
75.
right, right.
So yeah,
Yeah, no. And 75 is cold when it's 115 out.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I get that. When I was in the Philippines last year for 3 months, and I lived in the pool. So I
Hmm.
stayed at a resort. I had a 1 bedroom, 2 bath apartment in a resort for, I think it was like 540 a month.
Yeah.
Plus electricity, but it included everything else. And then of course it was in a resort, so they had room service. I just, I think my food bill was as much as my rent. It's like
Actually,
we're just like, call up and get food delivered.
yeah.
Yeah, because it only has like a 2 burner hot plate, and a microwave and these tiny little refrigerators. So I'm
Yeah.
like, so we just ordered food every day.
That's
So that was
awesome.
that was fun. Live in the pool, order food. Life was good.
Yeah.
But after a few months, I'm like, I gotta go build a business.
Yeah.
I can't,
No more
you know.
playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like building businesses. I do. So I'm actually working on a second one. I don't know if you saw that on Facebook, but so it started out with me. Um, I was building an email campaign for renters, right? I want to generate buyer leads, right? So I can hand them out to agents too. And then, uh, so I build this, I chat GTP, I get 26 emails. So I'm going to do a renter campaign. Then I'm like, great. Now where do I get enough emails for renters to even make this a viable option, right?
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, I should ask that question first. So then I'm like, all right, so let's do direct mail. I know how to do that. I've been doing that for 20 years.
Right.
And I still have all the equipment from when I had my brokerage. And
Mhm.
so I said, well, we can do apartment complexes. And I'm like, well, what if we just did a postcard that had like a header and a QR code, you know? I'm
Yeah.
like, well, we can track how many times it's scanned. So I'm like, man, can I figure out how to, what can track who's reading the mail, and I,
Hmm.
and I figured it out.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
I figured out a way to have the same landing page. I can have 10,000 postcards going out with the same landing page, but I figured out a way that the landing URL is unique to every record. And then the printing software will create a unique QR code for every record. So if somebody scans it, we can log on our back, and I have a plugin on the website so I can generate a report and say this campaign and this ID number. And then you look up the campaign. This campaign's got 500 people. Here's their ID. This address
Yeah,
is reading our mail.
that's a great idea.
Yeah. So I developed that and to start partnering with agents, and I already just picked, some agents have agreed they want to do it. And so we're in the process of getting that, getting their list purchased and things like that. And, but then I'm like, man, I could sell this on a national scale.
Yeah,
So, so that, so now I have two businesses. So if I get, it keeps me from getting bored, you know,
exactly.
because
Exactly.
what we do is, it may be new and exciting in the beginning, but make no mistake. The key to being successful, and I learned this early on, the key to success is mastering repetitious boredom.
Yeah.
I don't care how exciting the job is. After a while, it's bored, you
Yes.
know? So,
Well, and it's just like building a muscle. You know what I mean?
right.
You've built a muscle to where it's
No longer
easy.
sore. Right.
The last few years, I kept saying, "Can you believe that real estate is the easy thing going on in my life right now?"
Right.
Like
Right. Yeah, exactly. Selling 50 houses, that's the easy part, you
that's the
know?
easy part right now. I've got other challenges going on, so
Right. And that's funny. It's so
yeah.
true too,
Mhm.
Yeah, because after a while, that's just the way it is,
Yeah.
And the key to that is, so I remember I heard a guy teach, it was Matthew Ferry taught it. It was he called it the phases of mastery. And once you get to that, you stabilize, because first you go through planning, then concentration, that's doing the day to day, you're door knocking and then you get into momentum where you start taking off. And then if you don't have processes in the back, you crash. And so, and then finally you get stabilized. And then he says, now you're bored. You're doing 4 or 5 deals a month. You're bored, and
Right.
he said, don't get me wrong. It's a great place to be bored at. And
Right.
so he says, but now that you have that, now you do that same volume in less time, and then and now you have revenue and you have more time on your hands. He says, then you start looking for other ways to, because when you're grinding, you're doing it one deal here, one deal there. He says, now let's start looking for multiple transactions,
Mhm.
like multiple
Yeah.
a builder, divorce attorneys and whatnot. He says,
Yeah.
because
A
you have
little
the
more bulk.
yeah, you have the 4 to 5 deals a month, you'd certainly live on that. If you have an extra 2 hours a day, or three, if you hire enough staff, you can go work on other projects where you can start phone calling and visiting other people that can give you, you're looking for people that can give you at least 6 deals a year. You get
Yeah.
10 of them, you just added another 5 deals a month. You just
Yeah.
doubled
Well,
your
and that's
business.
where you can also start giving back, right? So, like,
Right,
I am the marketing director of the Women's Council of Realtors.
right,
I'm also the president elect for next year. And so there's once it's kind of that oxygen mask thing going on yourself
right. You got to
first,
put
right?
yours
So,
on first,
but
right?
I think a lot of times people do it backwards and they start volunteering and doing that, and then
Right.
they never actually like get their
Launch.
business anywhere because they
Right,
are doing too many things.
right,
And so it's really focusing on that to get to that point and then being able to give back.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always a give backer kind of guy. The
Yeah.
Facebook group is a testament to that. That's like,
Hmm.
there's days I just want to shoot myself. And
Believe.
so, yeah, exactly. Block,
Yeah.
ban. Well, I had one guy block me,
Oh,
in the
that's
group.
funny.
So then I suspended him and he goes, why unblocked you? I said, well, I'm not letting you back in. Come on.
Yeah.
You have no respect.
Well, and if they block you, you can't see what they're posting, right?
No, I could see what they're
So,
posting, but
oh, you still can?
I can't click on their profile or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, no, we're not playing that game.
Yeah.
This is my house. Look,
Yeah.
it's my house. I'm going to put out food. You can come in. Everybody's welcome to come in. Everybody's welcome to eat. But as soon as you start bitching about what I'm putting out to eat, you're gone. It's like, come on, really? It's like, I just assume you
Yeah.
said thanks, you know?
Exactly.
Gosh, So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So, and then, so when you move, how long you been down in St. George now?
So we moved here in 2016.
Okay. So
Yeah.
and then, so you still do a lot of business up here, but,
Mhm.
but then obviously build a bit. Did you door knock to build a business down there too?
Actually, a lot of my business here is referrals from agents up north.
Oh yeah, sure. That makes
So
sense.
I,
And people moving down.
yeah. So in the first, okay, so let's say that was the first, what, 12, 13 years of my career was in Salt Lake.
Right.
I built up a client base of over 500 clients, stuff like that. And so that's where I built up that business that could sustain me. It was scary moving here. Like you
Oh
have that
yeah.
unknown, like what's going to happen? Am I going to lose everything? And so for the first couple of years, I was putting 50,000 miles on my car,
Right.
going back and forth every week, to sell. And then I figured out Zoom, and then I could do Zoom appointments and stuff
Right.
like that. And then COVID happened, and I could sell 50 deals from my couch.
Right.
So, um, but yeah, a lot of the reputation that I built in Salt Lake has carried me because of the monopoly, I guess, that the board here tries to have. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so it's actually benefited me because they want to have their own board and their MLS, and they don't realize agents refer. They don't want to drive all the way down here and sell
Right.
houses. And so I've gotten a lot of those referrals for my business down here. Happy to
Right.
pay a referral fee. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and that's the thing, like, it's, I think a lot of people are happy to receive a referral fee because we take on all of the heartache, the work, like,
Right. You get a lead
and
and
they
hand it
just
off
get to
to
get paid.
somebody. Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah.
there's guys that were really good at lead generation and just now they do that. You know who does that at a bit on a real large scale is Dave Ramsey.
Oh yeah.
So like his radio show and everything, he's a licensed real estate broker. He's not a member of any board. He doesn't do transactions. It's 100% referrals. And
See?
so he closes about, well, I forget what it was. Like I think it was like 400 referrals a month, which at 25% comes to 100 closed transactions a month, and he's got
Yeah.
no liability.
Yeah.
Man,
That's
that's
great place to be. So
yeah,
yeah, I think that'll end up being part of our plan as well.
right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because if that's all you're doing, you can generate four times. I mean, you just have to generate three times as much, and you can make
Hmm.
almost the same amount of money and have no
Right.
real liability.
Exactly.
Just have your own
Yeah.
brokerage. It's just you and your husband, and that's it. Because you
Yeah.
at that point, you don't have to be a member. Well, you may be a member of the board if you need certain things, but you
Right.
really don't need like your insurance would be low.
Exactly.
It should be anyway, right?
Yeah.
But we all know
Yeah.
insurance companies, they only have two departments, right? One how to collect money and the other one, how we're not giving it back,
To say no. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's their two
One to
departments.
keep it.
Yeah. One to
Yeah.
collect it, one to keep it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
that's
So
interesting.
it's been good. And that's the thing is, oh, I was going to say that about our brokerage. By not having it limited to just having buyer's agents or just working one area, we're not putting limits on anything. I
Right.
think a lot of times agents put limits on, well, I work this niche or I do this one thing.
Right.
And so where we're open to the state of Utah, we have a license in the state of Utah, right? We can
Right.
work everywhere. And by
Yeah.
allowing our agents to do listings and buyers, like that gives them more opportunity. Some of my agents will not touch a listing. They're
Right.
like, you can have it, I don't want it, and that's fine. I'll just give them another buyer. You know what I
Right.
mean? And if that's what they want to do, that's great. We'll support you in that. So
What I've
yeah.
learned is what I've learned is sellers can be more confrontational,
Hmm.
because they're only selling one house, and it's not sold. What's wrong with you type thing.
Exactly.
Where and if you can't handle that, that's whoa. Where
Yeah.
buyers are like, you pick one out. I don't care, but crap, you're the one that got
Yeah.
to live in it. You know,
Exactly.
I like it. You don't like it. I don't like it either. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, and that's the thing. Some people just love looking at houses, like, and they
Yeah.
love working with people,
Well,
so
there's
they
no
love
confrontation.
going and yeah. So it's just a personality thing.
Right.
I got sick of looking at houses. Even when my husband was like, let's move, I was like, you find the house, I'll just buy it because I look at houses every day.
Right.
So
I've said that
I'm like,
if I never saw another split entry in Kearns the rest of my life, I'd be all right.
yeah,
Yeah. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just that you've seen thousands of them,
Yeah.
and it's fun,
Yeah.
because you get a young buyer and they're trying to buy a home and they're excited, and you're trying to muster up excitement with them, and it's
Yes.
only your 8,000th version of that house you've seen, and
Yeah.
so that's, to me, there's a real skill in that to be
You
excited
know,
when they're excited.
yeah. Well, and you've evolved when you have gotten past having to sell the meth houses, right?
Right.
So, like, I guess
Yeah.
I kind of do because I still work with some investors, but I don't have to walk into them. I just let them go do that.
Right.
But
Yeah, I've sold houses I've never looked at, like old
yeah.
beat up houses, the investors send them over. I did a house we did a house. So as an agent in our office, he was office next door. It was Boyd Brown. And so, and I had this client, Danny, and he knew who my client was, as a guy I worked with, we did a lot of flips and whatnot. And so he goes and looks at this house. He goes, it's a total flipper type house, and the owners like realizing they're not going to sell it to a home buyer. They just can't do it. And
Yeah.
so he comes back in the office and I'm like, we're ready to buy it, based on his description. I said, did you get the listing sign? He goes, no, he's interviewing another agent. I'm like, when? He goes, now. I'm like, now. I'm like, I'm on the phone with my guy, Danny. Danny, get over there now. So Danny goes and knocks on the door. This other agent's trying to do a listing appointment. He's walking in doing his home inspection. So he calls me back and said, I told him some numbers and we could, what it would take, what we could sell it for rehab. He goes, yeah, let's buy it. So I wrote an offer and handed it to the agent next door in my office. And so he calls the seller and says, hey, we have an offer. And the seller's like, okay, we decided to go with you. It's
Oh,
like,
that's
but
funny.
yeah, I mean, that
Another
poor
agent's
agent.
like, what's
Yeah,
happening?
what the hell is this guy's doing his home
Yeah.
inspection?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, whatever, I mean, yeah, I mean, after 30 years, you get some stories,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
so,
You should do a podcast on the stories. That might be a good
right.
reality TV show right there.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, maybe we should, let's see. Yeah, maybe I'll just do one where I have people come in and tell me their best story, and
Yeah,
that's it. It's a 3-minute clip. I just have an hour of those. That's not a bad idea.
exactly. Real estate horror stories.
Yeah, horrors and fun stories.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah,
It's fun.
exactly.
It's been good being in real estate. It's been a good blessing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no limits. That's
Yeah.
the thing I liked about it.
We
Uh,
make the limits. We make
Right,
our own limits.
right. But I
So,
mean,
yeah.
industry wise, opportunity wise, there aren't any. It's up
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
And so, you can control your schedule just, for the most part. I mean, you have clients. I mean, I get it. You have to
Yeah.
grind and work. But I mean, if Wednesday's your day off and as long as you have somebody to cover for you, then Wednesday's your day off. I mean, it's just the way it is.
You can work whatever 16 hours in a day that you want. You just
Right.
have
Yeah,
to choose which
exactly.
ones.
Yeah. I work a half a day, sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
So in the summertime, it's brutal, right? It's 18-hour day. So,
Yeah.
well, this is awesome. This has been fun. I don't know if we've
Yeah.
ever hung out this long at a time, have we? I mean, we've
I
known
don't
each
think
other for a
so.
long time. I mean, you've been
Yeah.
in classes and stuff, but but we never sat down and hung out.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's hard in our line of work. We meet each other
Yeah.
in passing. And so,
Mhm.
but this is good. Well, let me ask you. So we're kind of at the hour mark. I try to keep it to an hour. So is there anything that I didn't ask that you would like to convey?
I just let's see, what would be a good thing to say?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, let's put it this way. If an agent that wanted to take their career to the next level, they were doing some deals, they just needed the right kind of support and wanted to go to the next level. How, what should they contact you? I mean, what should they do?
yeah, for sure, contact me. No, so basically you just have to be willing to invest in yourself.
Right.
I think right now a lot of people want to take free classes and it's hard when
Right.
you get into real estate and have $0. The one thing I did do right, in my opinion, is I had no money, but I paid for all sorts of training and
Right.
support and I hire split. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I think a lot of times the first question people ask is, what's your split?
I know. That
And
should be the
it's
last question.
$0. It's 100% of nothing if you can't sell anything.
That's correct.
So if you can go somewhere where you're going to get that support and mentoring and training and guidance and somebody who cares about you and will invest their time in you,
Right.
which is what I've done over the last 20 years, building up
Right.
agents to be top producers, because that helped me to be at the top of my game as well.
That's exactly
I
right.
had to lead by example.
Well, yeah,
And
yeah, that you
so
have to do that. And plus you have to be study to be, if you the best way to learn a topic is go teach it and you got to study up on it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if people really want to have a successful career and they actually want to do this as a career, they need to just be okay with investing
In themselves.
in themselves. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Brian Buffini, another Brian Buffini quote, because I'm one of his, I forget what mentors, whatever, certified teachers. And so
Mhm.
he has his different programs. And in the program where the instructors program, the brokers program, he says, you're always going to have agents who say, can you front the money for me? And the response that he gave us was, look, if you're not willing to spend $400 on you, I'm not willing to spend it either.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
thought that was beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's true. I mean, my daughter's just, she's in real estate. She's 26, but she worked at a builder. She was their inside sales agent, just taking inbound calls. So she's been talking to buyers for 2 years, and
Mhm.
now she made the switch to where she's an independent resale agent. And I keep telling her, I said, look, you have to budget money for your education. This
Yeah.
is, your education is just beginning today. I mean, all
Yeah.
everything you learn. I mean, you got to pour money in yourself. I mean, I just tell people, they're like, you're really smart. I'm like, no, I'm just well trained.
Exactly.
I mean,
Are you
that's it.
going to the NAR convention?
No, when is that? That's usually October, November, right?
So yeah, it's November. The Women's Council part is the 12th through the 14th, and it goes between the 12th to the 16th, I think,
Right. Where's it at
of
this year?
November. It's in Anaheim.
Okay. I went to one. In fact, my daughter went to that. She was about a year and she was not even a year and a half old. She went to that. She
Yeah.
doesn't remember up, you know. I
Yeah.
remember getting on I-15. I think we didn't even get to Lehigh yet. And she's like in the back crying. I think we had to
Are we
change her
there
diaper,
yet?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. So
exactly.
I see value in, getting that industry training and that knowledge and stuff like that. It's funny because a lot of people go to your Facebook page to ask these questions. My answer is always ask your
You're
broker
broke, right?
because that's the first place they should be asking that question.
Well, but if
But
if that were a possibility, my Facebook group would dissolve overnight.
right?
I've been saying for years I should be billing these brokers,
Exactly.
you know.
And it's hard because yeah, I mean
I mean,
those
some of them are
agents are
broker
not.
questions, but some of it's water cooler kind of
Yes.
dialogue.
Yeah. But a
And there's
lot
a
of
time and
it,
a
I mean,
place. Yeah,
some of those questions are about a transaction that they're in with an
right.
agent who's also in the group. And
More than
it's
likely
like,
in the group, right? Yeah, that one always like rolled my eyes.
yeah.
No, I get it.
So invest in going to conventions and trainings and things like that, and then you don't have to ask those questions to your peers.
Well,
So
so my daughter, I had her interview teams, but she didn't find any that just like floated her boat. So I said, well, look, I said the whole purpose of a team is leads and support. I said, let's just, I'll help you, because we could generate buyer leads together. I get the loan. And
yeah.
so I said, and I'll give you all the support you need. So
Hmm.
even if you join the team, I'm still probably the first go-to support.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
old dog like me, you're going to call me first, right?
Exactly.
Well, and I see my daughter's number. I'm like, hey, I got to take this call. So
Yes, of course.
yeah, yeah, she's my sweetheart. So
Yeah,
she's my daddy's little girl. So
that is perfect.
yeah. Well, this was fun. So we're definitely up to our hour. Um,
Hey,
so thanks for coming in. And agents, like if you're doing like 8 to 10, 12 deals right now and you want to go to a higher level, I will vouch for Amie. Personally, I've known her that long and I trust her enough to say, yeah, go for it. And
thank you.
but be prepared, to to be worked. I mean,
Yes.
so I mean, it's not going to be a walk in the park. You're going to work. So just know
Yes.
that up front.
Well,
So
thank you. I
anyway,
appreciate that, Rob. I appreciate you having me
yeah, my
on.
pleasure. Well, thanks
Yeah.
for joining us, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. This is my Rob Aubrey, your host, and our great guest here, Amie Larsen. This is the Productive Agent Podcast, powered by Aubrey Home Loans. If you have any loan questions, feel free to just give me a call anytime. Thanks. Make it a great day.